right, welcome everybody. So excited to be here to talk to you about Unchained TV. Unchained TV. You want to save animals, people, and the planet, but there's too many people to talk to them individually. I am urging you to take that energy you take and you exert to get Joe Schmo down the block or some relative, and you're spending hours and hours and you're getting frustrated. Let it go. There's 8 billion humans. We must use mass media to get to those 8 billion humans. That's why I started Unchained TV, but it is a 501c3 nonprofit. I do not own it. It belongs to the community. So what I'm trying to do is to mobilize the vegan community to take advantage of this. This is a streaming network, just like Netflix, just like Amazon Prime, but we didn't spend $2 billion. In the case of CNN Plus, CNN's short-lived streaming network, they spent $300 million. We made ours for $40,000. And we need everybody's help to grow it. So we did pass the 1 million mark when we debuted Pig Little Lies. And now Pig Little Lies is on public television stations all around the country and on the global PBS app. That is the world's first reality show starring pigs. I'm going to show it to you in a second, an Unchained TV original. So we are producing content that is getting out there, high quality content. We're also aggregating content from a whole bunch of people, but we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. We need your help. And I'm going to tell you about ways you can help. I see Ray Kowalczyk is on here. He's helped us with editing. He's responded to the call and gone out and shot things. You know, it's not you can be an armchair warrior, but we need you to be an armchair warrior for Unchained TV because we are the world's only vegan animal rights streaming network in the world. All of our content is given away for free. And we have the potential to reach 1/3 of the world's population. We are on all Samsung TVs now. There's gazillion of them, okay? We are on all Samsung TVs. If you have a Samsung TV, you can go to your smart hub, you see the little app, you put in Unchained TV, one word, it will come up. We're on Amazon Fire Stick. We're on a Roku device. We're on Apple TV device. So we're working around the clock. I do not take a salary. I'm working 12-hour days, uploading content, getting people to give me content, you know, trying to, we're now at almost 1,500 videos, documentaries, cooking shows, travel shows. I just got one in called Derek and Tanya's Highway to Health with a whole bunch of rock stars, including Kat Von D and Tanya O'Callahan, Derek Green, and Kevin Smith. And I've been uploading that this morning. But I do need your help. We need your help. So let me give you a tour, and then we can talk a little bit about how you can help. And you're not helping me, okay? You're helping the vegan movement. Once again, 8 billion people on this planet. I know we all have those people that we want to turn vegan, that uncle, that sister, that cousin, that neighbor, that boss, but let's redirect our focus to, instead of reaching one person, and remember, it's much harder to convert somebody when you know them because they take everything you say personally. Let's go out there and get people we don't know to go vegan because we're approaching them with content as opposed to saying, you need to go vegan because I'm right and you're wrong. It doesn't work that well. So that's what I'm saying. Supersize your activism right now. All right, let's do a little screen share and I'm going to take you on a little tour of Unchained TV. All right, here we go. We are at Unchained TV, the global streaming network, the world's only vegan streaming network for veganism and animal rights. And I'm giving you just a quick up and down look. We have our featured segment. We just did this one, Protesters Swarm New York City Adidas Store. Let's check this one out.
Massacres we don't condone!
Leave the kangaroos alone!
You can do it outside the stores. You cannot do it.
We're going to keep coming back till they stop those
I'm just going to call the police.
This is Donnie Moss with TheirTurn.net at the Adidas store in Soho, where animal rights activists are calling on the company to stop killing kangaroos to make soccer shoes.
Adidas, you can do better. There's so many other materials that are cruelty-free. This represents violence and torture of a wildlife species.
Now, I just want to say that that was originally an Instagram and TikTok vertical video. And what I did was I used artless.io video. We're subscribed, and I downloaded video of kangaroos, and then I split screened it, because generally we don't like to use Instagram footage, but this was such a great protest. I just figured out a way to incorporate the Instagram footage. We just did an interview with 3 of our stars talking about their approaches. We've got, what we're doing now is sort of repurposing some of our lunch break lives. For 5 years, we were getting millions of views before Facebook changed their algorithms and became essentially pay for play. And we were doing all of these great cooking shows live called Lunch Break Live for 5 years. We never missed a day. So now we're going back into our files and finding some of the better ones and repurposing them to our app. Take a look at this. How gorgeous is this dish? You're going to learn right now how to make this dish. So, Christina, tell us about the amazing dish you're making and all the amazing vegan, cruelty-free activities you've been involved in.
This is a dish that if you make this at home, you're gonna impress yourself, you're gonna impress everybody else, and it's the type of thing you put down and disappears in seconds. I'm making individual Italian sausage pastry tarts. And it sounds fancy, and it is kind of fancy actually, but it's really, really easy. First thing we do is make the marinade, because we do have to marinate the tempeh for a whole hour.
So that's just one example of how we're repurposing some old videos that we did as live videos. We also have a new cooking shows that people have approached us. This woman is Vintage Veg.
Welcome to the Vintage Veg. I'm your host, Laura Crotty. We're going on a vintage journey exploring our favorite nostalgic foods and veganizing them. We can all benefit from eating more vegetables, so come join me in the kitchen to eat some plants and taste memories.
So that's a very interesting, this lady is, and I think it takes all kinds. We can't all be loudmouth protesters and advocates like myself. Sometimes a very conservative, mainstream approach works best, and she certainly provides that. We are also, and I'm just showing you some of the latest, when Farmer John, the largest pig slaughterhouse on the West Coast, closed down, there were 5 days of vigils. We were there and did stories on them, original content. It's very sad. I won't play too much because I always start crying when I watch this video. But, you know, we were there documenting it. No other news media organization was there videotaping 5 days of vigils that were incredibly moving. How do you commemorate the closing of a slaughterhouse? Millions of pigs died violent deaths here at the now infamous Farmer John killing plant near downtown Los Angeles. Those animal lovers who had spent many nights here comforting the pigs as they headed in to die now gathered again to say good riddance to the slaughterhouse, but also to pay their final respects to those innocent victims. Just babies, only about 6 months old. Each activist here marked the occasion in a different way. It was so confusing. They were, of course, happy it was closing, but they also knew that pigs would continue to be killed somewhere else.
Now we get to be in the future where all beings are free. So as we're going into this meditation, take that contemplation and turn it into right action to do this and see this in a way the world's never seen before, because every single person has a gift here to serve this movement.
I feel the life, I see the light for the first time. You finally saved me, I can feel the song, no need to run. Hey driver, take your time, I can see the trees, I enjoy the ride. So many trees, I lost the count, and I'm starving. My brother is shaking and I'm begging him, keep fighting. So many people approaching me with love and so much happiness. I want to sing a song. How did you know I was thirsty? This water is my ecstasy.
Our superpower is choice, and the best choice we can make is to go vegan, but I'm pretty sure most of people here are already vegan. And
Exactly. Now that song always brings tears to my eyes, because it's about these pigs going to be killed. And it's the first time that they see the sky. And they think they're going somewhere nice. And they're going into the most horrific death. But we don't need to see this. People who aren't vegan need to see this. And unfortunately, most of our content is in a vegan echo chamber, where we play this stuff to each other, as I just did to you. What I'm trying to do is to get the funds to do marketing so that people who are just looking for free content will stumble upon this, and they will see, they will open their hearts. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen by magic. We have to raise funds to do that. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're starting a monthly donorship campaign. We have a match. We have, if people who give $10 a month sign up to give $10 a month, and I was going to get our donor link and put it in, and I will do that and grab it right this second. For the price of 2 cups of coffee, you can be part of this movement, and I will put this in the chat so that you can donate $10 a month, be part of our team. We're already up to almost 100 monthly donors, and we can become self-sustaining and then start using money to market this. We just built it. You know, we now have almost 1,500 videos. We just got this great series, Top Vegan.
Come on in, chefs. Welcome, welcome. Gather round, gather round. Well, welcome everyone to Top Vegan. We're here at The Mix, the state-of-the-art culinary facility here at Columbus State, for the next week to compete across 6 challenges, where you'll be tested on your culinary creativity, your kitchen aptitude, and above all, your ability to adapt to what's in front of you.
So that's a new 6-episode vegan cooking show that we just got in. And we have some fun things too as well. Jamie Logan,
Today we are here at the Vegas Vegan Culinary School and Eatery, and we are with Heather Heath, the owner, and executive chef Charisse Wilson, and they're going to be teaching us how to make chicken fettuccine alfredo with our chicken bites.
Music to my ears, Bobby. We're gonna be doing a raw version with some zucchini, and we're also gonna be doing a pasta version.
so we have, you know, lighthearted. She gets very lighthearted. This is a lingerie protest that happened in Hollywood recently. We are here in the heart of Hollywood, and right over here What the heck's going on? People are taking off their clothes. It's called the lingerie protest movement, and it has spread all over the globe. This didn't come out of nowhere. All this started when an Australian supermodel named Stefania Ferrario, who happens to be vegan, had a thought. She said, you know, I'm using my sex appeal to promote all these products. Why don't I use my sex appeal to promote something that's close to my heart, veganism? So she stripped down and took off into the streets, and the rest is history.
It takes a little bit of, you know, like kind of guts to do something like this, because you're putting yourself out there, you're wearing nearly nothing on Hollywood Boulevard, but it's for the animals, so that's so much more important, you know what I mean? I'm not ashamed, I'm excited to do it, so.
Yeah, so, and each one of these videos, we have to go there, we have to shoot it. It takes 3 to 4 hours minimum. Then we have to take it back. Then we have to edit it. Then we have to upload it. Then we have to describe it. Then we have to promote it on Instagram. And also we do run Facebook ads to get people to look at these videos. So there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into it. We were just at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit here in Los Angeles. We are live at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit in Los Angeles. It is very, very exciting, and we've got an incredible guest with us. But first, I want to go straight out to our reporter on the scene, Michelle Celestino. Michelle, take it away. Show us, give us a view of what the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit looks like. Give us a tour.
Wow, Jane, let me just tell you, it's really exciting. So many different booths here. We see right all the way down here, people milling about, all for the animals. Look at this fight for the right to rescue. Let's go and see what's going on.
All right, so you are watching really what's going on. You're feeling like you are there. And this is the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit. Yeah, so, you know, we're giving people a chance to see what's happening at this summit. And I mean, I could go on all day. We've got a tremendous amount of content. That's just the featured section. We're also showcasing restaurants that are really benefiting from promotion.
Hi, I'm Michelle Celestino for OMGLA. I am here in Redondo Beach, California at Chef Tara Pizzone's restaurant, Pura Vida. It's Italian vegan cuisine. And let me just tell you, look at this feast. Take a look before I dive in. Excited to be here. We're at Pura Vida in Redondo Beach, one of my favorite restaurants, and it's vegan and it's Southern Italian. Let me just tell you, waiting forever to do this interview with you.
I love it. Thank you for being here.
Yes. Okay, your story's incredible. First, tell me about all the Pura Vida restaurants.
Okay, well, we opened the original Pura Vida in West Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard in 2018. And then 2 years later, right in the beginning of COVID, we opened the pizzeria right next door, because that's good timing. And but we lived through it. And then about a year later, we opened the location down here in Redondo Beach, which is right across the street from the beach. So it's pretty spectacular in the summertime. Yeah, I could not be more grateful. It's pretty incredible.
Okay, let me tell you that people come from far and wide to just have your Italian food. Food is not just delicious, it's special. It's Southern Italy and it's your homegrown food. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I mean, my family, we're from New York. I'm Italian by heritage, but my family comes from southern Italy, and, I just grew up in a pretty traditional, sort of stereotypical, like, New York Italian house, where everything revolved around food all the time, under every circumstance. And I love all the traditions that we have, and I'm kind of old-fashioned, like I like to hold on to those types of things. But then I became vegetarian when I was 10 years old, and there was a lot of things to figure out. When I was a really young girl, I never really felt comfortable eating certain things, like if they were on a bone or something that was very obviously meat. But I didn't really understand why. I just didn't love it. I was kind of grossed out, to be honest, but I didn't understand why. But then in 5th grade, I had a teacher who showed the class a video of a slaughterhouse. And I know that sounds strange. I don't even know that you're allowed to do that. Certainly not back then. But she did, and it changed my life because I made that connection and I understood why I was A, grossed out, B, just uncomfortable in general. And I just made the decision that I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I went home and told my parents that I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And it was a transition. It was a big deal, but they were, long story short, they were very supportive. And they basically wanted to make sure that I had stuff to eat, and that I was, I was a growing young girl, so I needed to have like basic nutrition. Not that they understood anything about that, but I started cooking with them in the kitchen, and that's basically how it all started. I was just sort of like her sous chef, I was like peeling the garlic and chopping vegetables and stuff like that, but I didn't know how to cook yet, So as I was doing that and as I was getting older, I learned I was really paying attention because I really wanted to understand, and plus it was so much fun.
You influenced your family, like you would have one vegan thing at a time. Tell me about that.
Well, my mom, did most of the cooking, and she started to change the way she would cook for the whole family because she didn't want to make 2 completely separate meals. So she would make something that was like meat, and then all the rest of the stuff she would make was, well, in the beginning vegetarian, but then became vegan after a while.
One of the reasons I think this is an important story, even though it's sort of slowly expanding, is that I think people who are not vegan can relate to this a lot better than some of the other content, just going vegan, go vegan, go vegan, go vegan. It's not necessarily as effective as attraction, letting people identify with this woman's story, and then gradually kind of thinking, well, yeah, I kind of felt that way too. And it really normalizes the process of going vegan. I always say for 99.99% of the people, it's a process, not an event. And so by sort of getting people comfortable with that process, by explaining a very successful restaurateur, she's not some vegan activist. She grew up in an Italian. In fact, her parents ran, if you watch the video, they ran a Subway shop. So I think these stories are very identifiable, and I think it's very important to have that kind of content. I always use the example that if you were to go onto a Mormon streaming network and everything was, you need to be a Mormon, you'd run away as fast as you can. But if you got onto a Mormon channel and they said, look, the red rocks of Utah are beautiful, and look at these people, they're going on journeys to help people and to do public service work, you might get drawn into it. So I think we have to draw people into veganism as opposed to trying to badger them and then their resistance comes up. That being said, everybody reacts differently to the message. I was personally shamed into going vegan by Howard Lyman, who stuck his finger right in my nose and said, liquid meat, when I explained that I still ate dairy. And that was 27 years ago. So sometimes you can shame people into going vegan, but sometimes it's better to do attraction rather than promotion. Here's our original content, Pig Little Lies, which is now on public television stations around the country. It was the world's first reality series starring pigs. And then we turned it into a movie. And so now that it's a movie, it is on public television stations around the country.
People see, people on TV with a little teeny pig that they're holding, and it's like, oh my gosh, I want one of those. Everybody wants a small something. It goes crazy for a while, and then he kept getting bigger and bigger, and then we go crazy about 9 months later because they're getting rid of all of them. So it's a vicious circle.
Oh, is that your phone?
Hold on. There's 2 pigs, a bonded pair, at a high-kill shelter. They have basically until tonight.
Whatever it takes, we're going to get those pigs out.
I don't have any place to put pigs. I have pigs all over town. There's nobody else who can step up for this?
So that is, you'll have to watch the show to get the full story, but it's the world's first reality show starring pigs. And it really, I would say, humanizes pigs. It makes people see life from a pig's standpoint. And it shows how intelligent they are. And it's very, again, it's not heavy-handed. Let people connect the dots on their own. And I'll just give you a couple more examples, and then we'll talk a little bit about how we can all be a part of this, a world's first vegan animal rights streaming network with the potential to reach 1/3 of the world's population. Okay, so Plant-Based by Nafsika was the first vegan lifestyle show on mainstream TV. And I was on it. It was about, I'd say, 7 years ago, something like that. Anyway, it had a lot of great people on. You could see that Gene Bauer's on there. You have Bruce Friedrich, Donnie Moss. We were on there. They got a lot of people who were very involved in veganism. And she is Nafsika. She is a plant-based advocate who basically, my understanding is, bought time, actually purchased the time to run this series on A&E's FYI network. So I contacted her and I said, please, it's 7 years ago, let's give it another showing. And she was able to give me this series. And so we're streaming this, and it's very well produced. I mean, it's nicely done.
When you think vegan, what comes to mind? A plant-based diet full of boring foods? Maybe a bunch of weak, hungry people moping around? Well, none of it is true. I'm Nafsika. I was born and raised Greek in beautiful Montreal, Canada. Join me as I gather professionals from all walks of life to demonstrate and discuss just how a plant-based diet can change your life and our planet. From protecting our wildlife to strengthening physical and mental health, Plant-Based by Nafsika is going to change the entire perspective. Did you know that animals are used for testing of medical, beauty, and personal care products?
So you could see this is a very mainstream show, very professionally produced. I'll be honest with you, when we first started Unchained TV, we were hungry for content. We took pretty much whatever we could get, and now we're getting more selective. But we have some very fun, edgy stuff. Jamie Logan, a very, very up-and-coming activist. She's doing work for Gen V and for PETA, and she does these provocative Q&As with people that are very edgy and kind of puts people in awkward positions by, gently confronting them. But I'll show you a couple of
What the hell is up? My name is Jamie Logan. Today we are showing people how that steak gets to that plate. Let's get into it. Sir, please.
In my adolescence, I worked on a farm and I raised a pig. I had to eat the pig. It scarred me as a kid. Don't eat pigs.
If you're going to eat an animal, you should have it nicely.
I don't eat cheese or milk. You should not do that too. If you really care about these living creatures, do what you gotta do.
Gotta stay meat-free. Do that shit, yeah, for the homies.
I've really turned Union Square into an orchestra.
find my next victim. What do you think about the treatment of animals in our society?
Okay. Certain animals have been just treated like crap for the sake of it, and humans just overlook that, and it's all just a money-making business and for greed. We're kind of just missing the point with animals.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, you sound like me. I mean, I don't even know you, and it's like we're just on the same wavelength. So, are you vegan?
No, I'm not vegan. I'm actually, I love meat. It's
This is a scary topic because a lot of people want to remain, ignorant about, the damage that we're causing, not just to our bodies, but to the environment.
Guys, I'm gonna ask Mike to do a freestyle rap for the animals.
I don't know fully, I need you to explain that before I do that.
Before you do the rap, we're gonna enlighten him about what happens in the meat, dairy, and egg industries. Got it. Okay, so if we turn our attention to the footage over here.
When really thinking about it, like animals, all animals are in bondage. All pets are in bondage, and the animals that are in the wild, that we take from the wild, or that we leave partial amounts, they're still in bondage. They're not truly living how animals.
Anyway, this is a fun kind of way. It's thought-provoking. It appeals to, it's more of how, let's say, a younger generation communicates with a lot of irony. We have a whole bunch of videos that feature celebrities. We recently, as part of Unchained TV, we take on certain causes. We've been fighting actively to save the Ballona wetlands, LA's last coastal wetlands, home to upwards of 1 million animals, in a part of 1,700 species, including threatened and endangered species. They want to bulldoze the entire area. Developers and the gas company, which has a storage facility under the wetlands. And in an Orwellian twist, they're calling it a restoration, which is a complete phony baloney. Destruction is not restoration. So we held a party. We invited James Cromwell. We raised money to pay for the lawyers to fight it in court. And guess what? We recently won in court. It doesn't mean the battle's over, but we won a major ruling by a judge.
We will win.
Succession actor James Cromwell was the headliner at a packed Venice, California fundraiser. More than 200 Los Angeles residents, along with a very social pig, partied with a purpose. Why the animal representative? Because people at this party love animals and want to save the special place where 1,700 species live, LA's last coastal wetlands. The Ballona Wetlands Ecological Reserve in Playa del Rey is now threatened by a very controversial bulldozing plan that would destroy the home of thousands of wild animals.
Marcia and a few people came to me at some event and said, listen, did you know about the Ballona wetlands? And I'd never heard of the Ballona wetlands. And she described it and said, would you come down and see the wetlands, which I did. And it's this. And it was moving, it was perfect. And I really wanted to be, I said, I'm in. Whatever you want me to do, I'm in.
And this was a very important thing. Honestly, I think the lawyers that were going to represent us were very impressed by the party. I think it lit a fire under them, and they were good attorneys at the very least anyway. One of them, Brian Pease, is a very well-known activist attorney. In any case, it was very, very successful. So we can also do causes that are specific if there is a cause that needs a specific video. We can also do that. So I could go on all day long. We have various organizations like Farm Sanctuary gave us some videos, Gen V, PETA. We're getting videos from Mercy for Animals, National Animal Rights Day, the Plant-Based Treaty. We have nature documentaries and videos that we've gotten from Earthstream. Earthstream shut down, and I contacted them, and very nice man who runs it said, I'll arrange for you to get a lot of our videos, and he did. We also partner with the International Vegan Film Festival to get the films that are submitted to that film festival. So I could go on and on and on. I have to say that sometimes in return, he asked me, can you please interview Dr. Baruti Galdikas, who was right up there with Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey as one of the three trimates. Louis Leakey, the famed scientist, basically funded these three women who went down in history for studying and defending primates.
I am so honored to interview you for Unchained TV. You are one of my heroes. You have been featured on the cover of National Geographic magazine, not once, but twice. You have received so many honors. You are right up there with Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey.
I have studied orangutans for the last 51 years, and I think my study is probably one of the longest studies of a wild animal population in the history of science.
Her story is very fascinating, how she tracked down Louis Leakey, how she got advice from Jane Goodall. There's just so many wonderful stories here. We also have music videos, and there are some really cute ones. I'm going to play you 30 seconds of each. This one is very inspiring to me, and I've actually used it as a track in some videos. This is One Great Vegan. She does incredible videos with her husband. To be, as I said, vegan, 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 vegan. I think there's a very good place for things that are a little more oblique and may ask people to look and see if they have a hero inside of themselves. And I'll just wrap up with one of my favorite videos. It just tickles me every time I watch it.
Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm. E-I-E-I-O. On that farm lived her animal friends. E-I-E-I-O. Oh, she saved one here, she rescued one there, protected and took care of them, made a safe haven. Old MacDonald had a sanctuary farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm there lived a cow.
Now you've had the chance to see the good portion of this network that we've created, and we really do need your help to take it to the next level. Again, there are networks that have spent billions of dollars creating very similar things. How have we been able to avoid that? Well, by getting virtually all our content is donated to us, or we raise the funds like we did with Pig Little Lies. And I'm happy to say Dr. Silas Rao is one of the executive producers, along with Jim Greenbaum and Cindy Landon and myself. we raised the funds at a party and paid for the production of that show, which we hired somebody who is a BBC award-winning producer who knows how to put them together to make it something that PBS would accept. So yes, it takes money to make those kinds of high quality videos. We're very lucky to get a lot of videos donated to us, better and better videos. We've just gotten Highway to Health, which I was uploading today, which is packed with rock stars that we're going to be showcasing. We are reaching the vegan community and, you know, really getting branded, but we need to brand ourselves in the greater community, which takes a marketing campaign. And this is what we need help. I mean, for the price, okay, this is a lemonade, but for the price of 2 glasses of lemonade a month, you can become a monthly donor, be a part of this. I put the donate link right here. You could just click on that and just become a monthly donor. We have a match. So if you become a $10 a month monthly donor, there's an anonymous donor who gives us $100. And you also become part of the team. We're going to have quarterly Zooms where we update everybody, get to answer your questions. We really do need the help because I don't take a salary. 99% of everybody who's working on this is a volunteer. We only have like a couple of technical people and occasionally pay editors. And so, you know, the sky's the limit with this. I mean, if we really started reaching a mainstream audience, I think we could turn a lot of people vegan. I really do, because the content, the cumulative effect. Let me give you one last example. We decided to create a climate and sustainability category. So I'm uploading these videos. I got some composting videos, and then I'm uploading them. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I'm a hypocrite. I'm uploading all these composting videos, but I don't compost. And I just had a crisis of conscience. And I was like, I have to start composting. And so I got a little metal bowl and I put it in my refrigerator, and I called the building and I said, we need to get a green bin. And now I'm composting away and I'm really having fun with it. I'm sending emails to my neighbors about how to compost, and I'm the compost police. But it was as a result of me actually uploading those videos, because it's going to take more than 30 seconds to change somebody's mind. If I had just watched a 30-second clip of composting, I don't think I would have gotten it. But I was watching a 2-minute, a 4-minute, a 6-minute video, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a second, I'm not composting. So I think that the long form content, there is really a place for long form content. Now, again, I just want to remind you that I'm trying to always organize this so that it's not getting the reflection. There it is, a lot better. I want to remind you that streaming has overtaken broadcast and cable as the #1 way people around the world are watching television, and it's just getting started. There are cord cutters. The number of people who are watching content on their Amazon Fire Stick, their Roku device, their Apple TV device, or through the App Store on their TVs like Samsung TV is growing exponentially. Our challenge is to let those people know that there is something called Unchained TV, and it's free. Why is it important to mention that it's free? Free is the #1 search term of streaming device users. They have their, the average streaming device, the average viewer who uses streaming has 6.8 subscriptions. And they're not going to pay a penny for anything else. So they've got their, okay, I'll just talk about myself. I have Netflix, I have Amazon Prime, I have BritBox, I have HBO, and I have Showtime. And that's it. I'm not paying for anything else. And that's me. Okay. And that's the way people are. Oh, sorry. I mean, I am asked to agree and subscribe to PayPal. Can you use a credit card? Yes, you can. It always takes you through PayPal. Thank you for donating, by the way. But you can still use your credit card. PayPal is the processor, but you can use your credit card. You don't have to pay PayPal. You can use your credit card through PayPal. as a processing. And, you know, poke around a little bit, you'll be able to get through there. What are you subscribing to? You're subscribing to become a monthly donor to Unchained TV. So if we have 300 monthly donors, or let's say 400 monthly donors, that's going to go a long way to paying the essential costs of running this network. We have to pay Vimeo OTT, a monthly fee. We have to pay insurance, which is climbing. We have to pay accountants. We have to pay certain editors. I do not take a salary. We have to pay a couple of people, but our costs, we keep it really low, really low. This is Unchained TV World Headquarters, my living room. You know, we have a post office box and it's connected to a building. So when you put in Unchained TV, it shows this building. I can't tell you how many people think that's Unchained TV's headquarters. And they'll say things like, have your comms team contact our comms team. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Great, I'll do that. And our publicist, Catherine Charles, is moi. Okay. So I set up different emails for the publicist and for this, that, and the other. But basically, we're just putting different hats on all day. It's me and like 2 other people, and they work. There's only one other person who works every day, and it's me and one other person. Everybody else is just, and they're donating. Our app manager is donating an hour consultation every week to us. So, you know, we just need some help, because once we break through, we really have an opportunity. This is global. People are watching in Croatia. They're watching in Latin America. They're watching in Japan. You can't get, we're not available in China, but just everywhere else. So it's very, very, I think, a very powerful vehicle to wake people up. And we just need to let people know that it's there and that it's free. And that's going to require a marketing campaign. So I'm happy to answer any questions. We've got about 6 minutes, and I think it's a good time to answer questions. I want to thank you for listening to this presentation.
Thank you, Jane. As always. There were some questions on the chat. Let me see.
Oh, yes. Jane DeMarinis, I hope I pronounced that right, says she's been giving since the last VCOP. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, you know, this idea about a monthly donor, Seth Tibbett of Tofurkey gave it to me. So he said, why don't you do a monthly donor? Why don't you say for the price of 2 cups of coffee a month? I said, okay. And that's exactly what I did. And I have that video running. So it's really not that much of a sacrifice. It's not really a sacrifice. I mean, I'm sure everybody on this call on this Zoom can afford $10 a month. And again, it's not to me. This is a community resource. So any questions? And yes, Catherine as well says, I signed up. And then BJ says, I love the programming. Thank you, BJ.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm signed up also for monthly donation. Yes.
And you also donated to be an executive producer on Big Little Lies. Thank you. And of course, the documentary we did about Dr. Silas Rao is also streaming on Unchained TV, Countdown to Year Zero. And it's won about 14 awards so far and counting. So, yeah, Tracy's there. Tracy's Real Food. She's actually, we're doing another thing. We're going to go live on TikTok for 20 hours every month. And Tracy just did it the other night. We're getting 15 people to do an hour a month, and I'm doing 5 hours a month, because we're working with a company that works with TikTok that they're going to push us out, but we have a minimum of 20 hours a month. Like I need this, like I need a hole in the head. Yesterday, I went and walked my dogs for an hour, and walking around with dogs and a stabilizer talking as I walk on the beach for an hour. Luckily, I can talk forever. It's actually a character defect, but it's coming in handy. So what else have we got here? Who has you know, that song, it just kills me every time I hear it about the pigs. It's just so heartbreaking. I can't imagine somebody listening to that song and not going vegan. I just can't. Anyway, amazing work, Jen. Would love to collaborate. Continued content. World Vegan Market. Yes. Okay, great. Shabari, I'll screen grab this and reach out. If you want to put your email in the chat, I will email you and we can work together. If you have content to collaborate, if you have content that is professional content, we would love to stream it. And Deb Thompson says, Unchained TV did an awesome job in televising the DXE rescue trials. We're going to be covering, that's one other thing we do. We do trials. I was a crime host, a reporter for 38 years, covering trials. I covered the Michael Jackson trial, the O.J. Simpson trial, the Casey Anthony trial, the Jodi Arias trial, so many trials, the Robert Blake trial. So what you do is you have a panel of like lawyers and various people, and we cover the trials of the members of Direct Action Everywhere who go in and do open rescue. They take the animals out and they're prosecuted. We've covered those trials and we cover them across all platforms. Like we've covered them on the streaming network, on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook pages. And then we cross-post to other Facebook pages as well, including Climate Healers that has graciously allowed us to cross-post. So we're going to be doing that September 8th. The trial of Wayne Shung is coming up in Sonoma County, California. He could face 7 years in prison for going into a chicken factory and showing that they're still using battery cages in violation of California law. California passed Prop 2, which went into effect in 2015, that bans battery cages. They did take out some chickens who they determined were sick and filled with all sorts of things that aren't good for people. They also presented the evidence that there were battery cages being used to the prosecution, to the DA, and they clamored for a prosecution of this company for violating California law. Instead, the prosecutors arrested them and charged them with felony crimes in connection with them going in, videotaping and taking out a few sick chickens. And the prosecutor has been quoted as saying he wants to cut the head off the snake. So basically they're going after Wayne because they perceive him to be the leader of this open rescue movement, which arguably he is. But that's not what prosecutors are supposed to do. They're just supposed to enforce the law. They're not supposed to act as agents of animal agriculture. So we got a very twisted situation there, and we're going to be covering it starting September 8th. So hopefully you'll watch that.
Yeah. Ray is asking, is it feasible to schedule live streaming episodic programs?
Well, that's a very interesting idea. Like we schedule, anytime we put something on the app, it has to be scheduled, which is tricky because sometimes you don't know when something's going to start. Like with the trial, you don't know exactly what time the judge or the people are going to walk into court, but you have to schedule it in advance for it to be on the streaming network. So a lot of times we have to just make a judgment call or a guess. Like on the day of the verdict, we made a guess about when the verdict would come in, and we were on the air for just about an hour when the verdict came in, which was very lucky. We could have been on for 12 hours. So you make an educated guess about when something's going to happen, and then you just vamp and just talk. As far as scheduling, yes, we could schedule episodic a series or whatever. We could say it's going to air at this time by just scheduling it to go live at that time. But you know what we've found is we're not at the appointment television phase yet with this streaming network. Maybe one day we will, but we're not at a point where we're going to say, everybody, you got to watch it this one time and millions of people are going to join. We're not there yet. So I don't think that investing a lot of time in that formula is workable right now.
Bhavna, you have a question?
Oh, yeah, somebody has a question. Go ahead.
You're muted.
Oh, yeah, just on the little left, the mic
Yeah.
on the bottom. Yeah.
Hi, Jane. Thank you so much for your efforts around putting the word out. And I'm curious, how are you increasing the viewership?
Well, that's what I've been talking about here, is that we really have to do a marketing campaign, and that costs money. And that's why we're trying to raise money. It's kind of like it's a vicious cycle, in the sense that sometimes if you want to get big investment, you have to show big numbers. But in order to show big numbers, you need big investment. So it's kind of a thing we have to break through. That's why we're doing TikTok. That's why I issue a lot of news releases. And that's why, we're doing all sorts of things. We do place Facebook ads. We have a budget for Facebook ads, and we place quite a few of them, and that drives a lot of people to watch. Most people are watching either online or on their phone at this time. The big untapped resource are the people with these streaming devices. That's where the marketing campaign comes in. And unfortunately, some of those marketing campaigns are very expensive because they're used to dealing with big corporations. I mean, HBO spends millions and millions and millions of dollars on their marketing campaigns. We could do, I think, an effective marketing campaign, which we did once for about $20,000. We did that when we launched Pig Little Lies, and we got over 1 million views as a result of that. But we don't have the resources to do that continuously. So we're waiting for the next big, original programming, which may come along in September, and we might be able to do that same kind of promotional push. But I think it's going to be doing all sorts of things and then hitting a critical mass. So we're also we're trying to reactivate our Google ads. As a nonprofit, we get free Google ads, and they've been giving us a really hard time, and we're trying to break through and get that going. We do the Facebook ads, which are the cheapest form of advertising. I mean, in terms of clicks, the number of clicks, it's so cheap compared to anything else. We also have a running ad on Veg News because it allows us to get better content. We can tell the people, if you give us your series, we'll feature your series on Veg News online, which we do. I think we're doing Top Vegan right now. That series should be going on the Veg News if it's not already up there. So, we're doing everything we can to spread the word. And it's, if we also one hit show, like Pig Little Lies was a hit show for us, one more hit show would be a very good thing to get publicity. I'll tell you when we got a lot of publicity. We got a lot of publicity when Earthstream gave us Carol Baskin's videos, because she was on Netflix's Tiger Kings. Even though they kind of made her look bad, supposedly, I never saw the series. She's a great person. She is very instrumental in passing the new law that prevents pets, that's going to phase out big cats as pets, and phase out cats in roadside zoos. She's an incredible activist, but she was kind of they made her, that's what they're good at. They just make people controversial. That's how they get eyeballs. But anyway, because she allowed us to stream all her videos, a lot of her videos, like hundreds of them, we issued a news release, and we got 145 requests for interviews, which was a lot. But it's only because she's a celebrity. That's the culture we live in. We have other incredible content, like the elephant series. That's a National Geographic elephant series. And Sangeeta Iyer is giving us a whole new slate of elephant videos. But Sangeeta Iyer is not a celebrity. It's much harder to get coverage of that. So, we have to accept life on life's terms. We live in a celebrity culture. Do I like it? No, but that's the reality. So, it's interesting. It's a challenge, but every day I come up with new ideas. The last thing I'll say is I'm actually going to have a meeting next week with our nonprofit attorneys to figure out a way to start showcasing small companies and restaurants and maybe getting a small revenue stream. Because a lot of these companies, I don't want to take money from a company that's struggling. I don't want to take money at all. Like, I hate talking about money. I was in mainstream TV for 38 years and I never discussed money once, because my first 2 jobs, I didn't really care what I was paid. And then I got an agent and she handled it. And I have never once discussed money my entire career. But now running a nonprofit, you're in a situation where you have to, because you got to pay certain things. You know, we can't have a streaming network if we don't pay for our insurance. If you know, there's a lot of things that, or the streaming fee every month. So there's a lot of things that have to be paid. So I have to go out there and say, hey, help us out. You know, help us out, be a part of this. It's a community streaming network.
I'm curious as to when you're saying people are donating the movies, all of them are donated, the content is donated.
Yeah.
So they already have a following of their own, right?
Some of them.
Are you able to, because not knowing the ins and outs of this, I'm wondering, are they able to put a word out to their following that this is now on Unchained TV? And could that be a way of increasing?
Yes. Well, every time we have a new video, the one person we do pay is our social media director, who works literally around the clock for a pittance. But she will create a reel on Instagram to promote the video we've gotten. And then she'll ask those people to collaborate, which means that Instagram reel will also go on their Instagram page. And so we do a lot of that. You know, one of the problems with our movement is that everybody is really stretched thin and everybody is trying to promote their own things. So the challenge is everybody's overworked and underpaid and stretched thin. So when we ask people, everybody's good-hearted and they do their very best, but to tell somebody, hey, you've got your film on Unchained TV, now I'd like you to do a whole marketing campaign. It doesn't happen because they're like, if they're a sanctuary, they're struggling to feed their animals. Here's an idea that I had, and I'd still like to do it, but I can't get the funds to do it. A lot of the sanctuaries are struggling to feed their animals. And the reason is climate change and also international problems like the war. The cost of hay has skyrocketed, the cost of feed. So what we wanted to do, because the 2 sanctuaries we featured in Pig Little Eyes were struggling to feed their animals. And I contacted somebody, Addie Gill, who's very adept at making things happen. And he figured out a way to get Cindy Brady, who took the pigs that are featured. She's now able to get food. And so is the other woman down near San Diego. And we wanted to do a show that would teach all sanctuaries how to use big box stores, farmers markets, and supermarkets in their area, along with human food programs. Because interestingly enough, there's so much excess food in our society that the supermarkets that sometimes will only give to human, like food banks, they can't give it away. It's too much food for them to give away. And so you can actually take the excess that they can't use. So we wanted to do a show about that. But at this point, we haven't raised the funds to do that show. But that would be a very interesting show that would provide an answer to all of these sanctuaries that are suffering and may not have thought about that possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. On that note, we have to end. Thank you so much, Jane. As always, you bring this amazing energy to our convergence. And with you on our side, I'm sure we're going to win.
Well, with you on our side, I'm sure we're going to win, Dr. Rao. All right. Thank you so much for everything you do, and love y'all. Thank you very much.
Bye.